welcome to E3 Spoilers Week. We're just a little bit over a week away from the start of E3 2014, and the leaks have started to flow once again. The big one from this week was EA's next Battlefield game, which is actually due out this year, which seems a little bit close to Battlefield 4, which was very, very buggy and probably could have used some more time in development. So fans aren't exactly confident in the series, but this new Battlefield is not being developed by DICE. It's being done by Visceral Games, who is the developer of the Dead Space series, among other pretty good games for EA. It is still staying a first-person shooter, but instead of a military theme, they're going more of a cops and robbers route, and it's being called Battlefield Hardline. The trailer that was leaked online is a little bit older, where it was still codename Omaha, but obviously this wasn't meant to be seen for E3. This was going to be one of their big stage reveals, and it got spoiled early, but the good news is it actually looks pretty damn good. It's interesting that they're going with this different theme. If you've ever played the Payday series, which is actually, you can check out Payday 2 for free this weekend on Steam if you've never played those games and you're interested on what a cops and robbers first-person shooter could be like. But we'll see in the next week or so if any more big E3 secrets are going to get leaked. And it seems quite a few developers are choosing to announce their E3 games early before E3. June 2nd looks to be like the reveal of Mortal Kombat 10. And the same day the Battlefield Hardline trailer leaked, Bethesda announced that they're going to be launching a new free-to-play arena combat game by a newly formed studio called BattleCry Studio. The game, in case you haven't guessed, is actually named BattleCry, and it's unknown right now if it's a first-person or a third-person combat game. It's set in a world where gunpowder was made illegal, so it's a lot of bows and swords and sort of steampunkish kind of aesthetic to it. I know you're thinking like free to play, well, what's going on here? I haven't heard of this studio, but the art director for Dishonored is doing the artwork for the game, and a lot of the other studios members are vets from studios like 343 Industries, BioWare, and so on. So it has the potential to be a pretty good game. There's no available gameplay footage yet, but for the reveal trailer, there's a story on the website. And while there's sure to be a lot of E3 announcements, I'm particularly interested in hearing what Capcom is going to be showing. But to match Nintendo's efforts for their Super Smash Bros. 4 Invitational Tournament, Capcom has decided to hold their own E3 Ultra Street Fighter 4 tournament, inviting some of the best USA players as well as 2 top Japanese players to compete for $3,000 in prizes. And while we know for sure we're guaranteed a Twitch live stream of this Ultra Street Fighter 4 tournament, things with Nintendo aren't always a sure thing, especially when it comes to YouTube and Let's Play videos. If you remember, within the last year, Nintendo actively took out copyright notices against anybody doing Nintendo Let's Play videos, and claiming all the monetization for said videos. Hasn't been a good thing, but it seems like they're about to change their position on that with a new Nintendo affiliates program where you can partner with Nintendo and they'll only take a share of your profits rather than the whole thing. This all coincides with the release of Mario Kart 8 this weekend, which features a YouTube upload function, so I'm sure that's not a coincidence, but it's about time Nintendo reversed their policy on this, because hey, it's free publicity and people like Nintendo games. And now, wouldn't it suck if when you went on YouTube to access those Mario Kart 8 videos, you had to pay more to your ISP? Well, that is a very real possibility now that the future of net neutrality is in danger. It's a pretty complicated subject with a lot of different arguments, but there's an article on the website right now that condenses everything into a short animated video, which specifically looks at what effects it could have on online gaming by the year 2084. So if you don't like a lot of reading and you need something easily understood why you should be petitioning to keep net neutrality, definitely read this article. And you know, I'm still kind of pissed off about last week with Harmonics passing their Kickstarter goals to get the new Amplitude game made. And on top of that, this week they laid off a bunch of employees right after getting the successful Kickstarter funding. So that's another kick in the nuts. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is you don't always need Kickstarter to fund a game if you're a good developer. The developer of the excellent PlayStation 3 indie game Journey, that game company, this week secured $7 million in funding the good old-fashioned way from an investor, and they're putting it towards a new game, which right now is currently a mystery, but I'd take a pretty good guess we might find out a little bit next week or so at E3. And I'm sure if you've been using any device connected to any form of advertising this week, you're probably seeing a lot of Watch Dogs ads. It launched earlier this week, Ubisoft's big open world hacktivism game, whatever you want to call it. Personally, I don't think it's all that great, having played it a little bit, but that's besides the point. So there was a PR idea that they had before launching the game, where they were sending out these safes to different media outlets, specifically gaming media outlets, where you'd receive the safe and then you get a text message on your phone with instructions on what to do with it, how to open it, and it had a copy of Watch Dogs in it. And if you incorrectly entered codes and whatever, the safe would beep. Well, the one of these safes was sent to an Australian media outlet called 9MSN, which is a Microsoft-owned outlet. However, it has nothing to do with covering video games. So they received the safe without the text message, and it started beeping, and they thought it was a bomb. So I'm laughing about this, but you know, the Australian bomb squad was called in, and they had to evacuate their building, and it caused a big fuss that Ubisoft was forced to apologize for. But this PR firm, I'm kind of liking their style, and actually I have a sneak preview of their next PR job for Taco Bell. Apparently Taco Bell is going to be launching some kids meals soon. So here's your nice little Mexican teddy bear that will come with every new Taco Bell kids meals. Hey amigo, I cut you. So we'll see. I think he's a little bit better than the Taco Bell Chihuahua and slightly less racist, but who knows? I cut you. And while that PR firm is certainly going to be shut down sometime soon, I'd say, there was another shutdown this week that's rather unfortunate. EA Mythic is closing its doors. You might remember Mythic as the developer of quite a few MMORPGs like Dark Age of Camelot and Warhammer Online. EA seems to be shifting their focus away from the MMORPG after Star Wars didn't really perform up to expectations, and in recent years they had just pretty much had Mythic on mobile games anyway. It's still sad to see developers lose their jobs, so I wish them all the best in their future endeavors. Hey man, I'm EA. I cut your job. I cut it. Oh, that was terrible. Hey, you know, EA might be straying away from the MMORPG, but one MMO that's still going very strong is EVE Online. In case you didn't see our first op-ed on EVE, I recommend reading that first before this one, but this newest article is about the first decade of EVE Online, and you know, I can't even put it in words how complicated and how much has gone on, and it's almost like its own country. So for really, the only way to understand it is to read this article. I recommend going and checking it out. And for all your latest gaming news, previews, and LAN events in your local area, check out gamersunite.com. And hasta luego!